You're not being nice by staying silent and not speaking up for yourself. You're not doing yourself a favor by not expressing an opinion when you actually wanted to or when you had to. Nice people are kind and considerate, but they need to learn to prioritize themselves. You cannot take care of others if you cannot take care of you, darling. How many times did you regret not standing up for yourself? How many times did you put others before you? If you ask me, way too many times. I used to be a people pleaser, and I was afraid to say no. I was afraid to disappoint and hurt others. I cared way too much about how others would perceive me and what they would think of me, and I didn't really care enough about how what I do would hurt and disappoint me, how disrespecting myself would actually make me feel. And I had to learn quite a few lessons to get to the stage I am right now in terms of interacting with others. Now I put me first. If I don't feel like doing something, I stand up for myself and I just don't do it. If I disagree with something that can negatively impact me, I speak up for myself. And you can do it too. And I'll give you some real life examples now. Let's talk work situations. When I was younger, I wanted to do more, and I was eager to deliver and satisfy most of my boss's requests. Once I was asked to do a legal report on a Friday at 5 p.m. because it was urgent and due on Monday. I can tell you that was a pretty late notification. That Friday I had plans, but I thought it won't take too long to finish the report. Oh, little did I know, the report was not as simple as I thought. I had to cancel all my plans and do reverse engineering because there was no documentation about that specific document. I ended up working until 9 p.m. What a Friday. If you asked me to do such a thing now, I would definitely say no. It was my boss' responsibility. He failed to plan properly. And why should I have been the accountable person for that report when I was not informed on time and I knew nothing about? Plus, if you accept demands in the end of your working day, people will keep on coming with absurd requests. Learn to value yourself and your time, darling. You have working hours, and outside of these working hours, you're not supposed to be working, and others should realize it. If you do something after hours, that should be the exception and not the norm. So if you're asked to do anything in the end of your working day, you have every right to say no. People should not take you or your work for granted. Don't waste your time doing overtime because of bad management. I'm really telling you this from experience because I've done it way too many times until I got to learn that I had the right to stand up for myself and I had the right to reject any last minute requests. Let me give you another example. This actually happened to me quite a few times. I had a few favorite colleagues of mine who expected me to have lunch with them every day. And I loved having lunch with them, but sometimes I needed an hour to be quiet. I needed an hour with myself to get in some reading, perhaps. And despite that, I never said yes to my own desires and needs because I was afraid to say no and I didn't feel comfortable. And if you get to experience something similar, I would suggest you to do the following. The next time your colleague comes at your desk at lunch, try saying something like this: I love having lunch with you, but I really need to work on something over lunch today. Let us have lunch tomorrow instead. And if they press you and ask if there's anything wrong, you can reply with this: I'm alright, and this has nothing to do with you. I just need some time alone. I promise we'll have lunch tomorrow. And since you're a nice person, you had a genuine smile saying this. There is no way that you can disappoint someone by giving such an answer, and at the same time, you're standing up for yourself. Get into the habit of speaking up for yourself and doing what feels right for you, even when that means disappointing other people. That is inevitable. You cannot make everybody happy, darling. Choose to make yourself happy first. Let's look at personal relationships. I bet that most of you have been in a situation when your family wants to meet you in a time that is not very appropriate for you, but you are afraid saying no and refusing going home. For example, my family had invited me for a lunch on a Sunday when I have already made plans with the person I was dating. And I was in a position where my family expected me to drop everything for them. And I usually do, but as I mature, I got to realize that sometimes you have to disappoint other people, even when they're from your family. And if you get to experience a similar situation, I would suggest you saying the following: I would love to see you, but I know that you like to meet outside, and I checked the weather. It is supposed to rain this weekend. How about us meeting the next weekend instead when the weather will be sunny? You don't have to feel guilty if you cannot make it when your family wants to meet you. They need to realize that you have your own life and priorities now. You are a grown up and you cannot always change your plans for them. That's life and they just need to live with it. Let me give you one more example. I have this one friend of mine that I love spending time with, but she's always late. Whenever we meet, she's never on time. And when I say late, I don't mean 10-15 minutes, but more than a half an hour. So we were about to meet one weekend, and here we go. She did it again, not showing up on time. And this time I was really mad at her, and I told her, I love spending time with you. We always have fun together, but I really don't like when I'm made to wait more than 15 minutes. I understand that this can happen to anyone to run late, but it has been happening way too often whenever we meet, and I get to feel like my time is not being respected. Please, next time you're running late, notify me in advance so that we can move our meeting to another day when you can arrive on time. Try to use kind words like this if somebody doesn't respect your time. People should learn to respect your time as much as they respect theirs. And don't pretend as if you have nothing else to do but wait for them. That is not fair to you, darling. Your time is precious, and there's nothing wrong in expressing a disappointment if somebody doesn't respect your time. And lastly, I want to share something that has happened to me a few times. I was dating a guy who had the tendency of canceling our dates in the early stages of dating. It was our third date that got cancelled, and I told him this. I understand that things happen, but I could have been notified earlier this time. This is our third date that got rescheduled. Just so you know, I only date guys who are willing to prioritize me and show me that. If that person is into you, they'll apologize and try to make it up to you. But if they're not interested, you better know it sooner rather than later, darling, and stop investing time in people who don't value you and don't reciprocate what you're giving them. So the next time you're dating someone new that is calling off your dates frequently, try to tell them what I've just told you. I believe that it can really be useful. I know that standing up for yourself can be really hard if you're not used to it. I struggled with standing up for myself because I used to put others first and I didn't value my own needs. And there are many contributing factors which can make it hard to be assertive, like past trauma, family dynamics, social conditioning, anxiety, or fear of rejection. And many of us get to experience these things. But you can get more assertive by practice. When you value your own needs, you'll get the skills to be more assertive. Of course, you should pick your battles wisely. You should only speak up for yourself when you feel safe. If you're in danger, it is better to be more agreeable so that you don't get yourself in trouble. But in general, there is nothing wrong with sticking up for yourself. When you do, you demonstrate respect for yourself and respect for others by not accepting toxic behavior. Being nice shouldn't get into the way of being hurt and getting your needs met. You have every right to stand up for yourself, and you should not feel guilty about it. If you struggle with setting boundaries, detaching, believing in yourself, and focusing on you, if you tend to enter in negative cycles and feel sorry for yourself, check out my other videos. I believe they can be helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!